So today we're going to get started on our voting system, and you can look in our gem file to see this gem called access votable. Now that's the gem we're going to use, and if you look over in the GitHub page, it shows you how to install it and the migrations that you need to run. So that's the first rule of order that we have to do is we have to generate that migration. So we do a Rails generate access votable migration, and we wait for it to create the migration file. So if you look over to the access votable migration, that's all it is. So what you want to do next is you want to migrate it. So you want to do a rake db migrate, and while that's running, we'll take a look at what's next. So these are all the functions that you could use to make your models votable. So now that we migrated, the first thing we want to do is we want to make our org products model votable. So what we want to do, we want to go over to our org product model.rb, and we want to add in the access votable directive in under the search kick line, and that's all it is for this model. But what you want to do now is you actually want to restart your server, or else it won't capture the changes. So that's all great and done. Now, one thing so you could actually read over this by yourself to customize it to however you want, but we're just gonna leave it there. One thing that we left off in the last video is that it was complaining about our vote buttons layout and how it didn't exist. So why don't we just go ahead and create that. The layout for this is actually quite simple, so I'm not gonna take a long time in explaining it. So I'm just gonna paste the code that I have in my notes, and we're gonna name this votebuttons.html.erb, because this vote buttons, again, it's like the add item field, so it's going to be used in both show and org product show and the catalogs page, and it's actually really simple. So if the person has voted on a product, then we're just going to show him this span class with thumbs up, with the vote upvote and the ID, and we're gonna show the same thing for the else. Now, why is that? What's the difference? Well, the difference is that if the person has already voted, then they have this voted class appended to the button type. If it doesn't, then they don't. So that's the same case that we have for the voted down on part. So if they voted down on a product, then they have a voted class. If they don't, then it doesn't exist. So what this voted class does is if you go to your catalogs.css.scss, you go down to your .voted, here is all the CSS that you'll ever need for the voting color scheme. So if it's voted, then it'll give you the color of 1E90FF, which translates to Dodger blue. So if the user has already voted on a product, they'll have this little voted sign or voted class show up in their button, and it will highlight in blue that they have already voted on the product. And this is a little function that keeps track of what the user voted on, and that pretty much comes right out of the box with the gem, so there's really nothing to describe about that. But other than that, that's your votebuttons.html.erb, and that's where we'll leave it off. In the next video, we'll continue more with the vote buttons, because even though we have done a lot in this video, it still doesn't know how to save our votes into the database yet. So that's what we're going to tackle in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.